Hello, grade 7 students. Welcome to my tutorial in Mathematics 7, Quarter 2, week number 6 with the topic Spatial Products, which includes letter A, product of two binomials, letter B, product of the sum and difference of two terms, letter C, square of a binomial, letter D, cube of a binomial, and letter E, product of a binomial and a trinomial. And these spatial products, we will deal on the use of models and algebraic methods. So to begin with, we have number 1 spatial product. Product of two binomials, or this is also known as the FOIL method or SMILE method. Multiplying most binomials results in three terms, and that's what we call trinomials. You can learn to multiply binomials in your head by using method called FOIL method. Ibig sabihin, pwede nating makuha yung product o kaya we can compute product of two binomials by what? Using FOIL method. Okay? Remember that FOIL reminds you to multiply the following. F stands for first terms, O, outer terms, I for inner terms, and L for the last terms. Okay? Next. The FOIL method is only used when you multiply two binomials. It is an acronym and tells you which terms to multiply. For instance, if we have quantity y plus 4 multiplied by quantity y plus 5. This is an example of binomial multiplied by a binomial. So what will be the product? So we will make use or apply FOIL method. So we will start on the first, y times y. So we have y squared. Okay, F tells you to multiply the first terms of each binomial. So that is y times y. Next, how about O? O tells you to multiply the outer terms of each binomial. So that is y multiplied by 5. So that is 5y. So the product in the first is y squared. Product of the second or O is positive 5y. You always include the sign. Next, for product of I or the inner terms, we have 4 or positive 4 times positive y, that is positive 4y. Okay, so we have already product of FOI, and for the product of the last terms, we have positive 4 times positive 5. That gives positive 20. Okay, so as you can see on the product of O and I, they are what we call similar terms. You combine the two. So we have positive 5 plus positive 5y plus positive 4y gives positive 9. Okay? Therefore, the product of y plus 4 and y plus 5 is equal to y squared plus 9y plus 20. This is an example of the first spatial product. The product is a trinomial because we have three terms. The first term is y squared, the second term is positive 9y, and the second term is positive, or the third term is positive 20. So let us try this example from numbers 1 to 5. Let's say for number 1, what is the product between 3a plus 7 and a minus 3? Okay, so we can compute that orally using FOIL method. Product of f is 3a times a, so we have 3a squared. Outside is positive 3a times negative 3, and that is negative 9. Product of I is 7 times 1, so we have 7. You combine the two, negative 9 plus positive 7, we have negative 2a. Okay, so our f is 3a squared. Our OI is how many? Negative 2. And L is 7, positive 7 times negative 3, negative 21. Correct. So 3a squared minus 2a minus 21. So para hindi kayo masyadong malito, why not focus first on the coefficients? Kasi madali lang naman na yung mga variables natin. Okay, madali na lang yung mga variables natin. Concentrate on the coefficients. Next, number 2. Quantity 5x minus 1 times quantity 2x minus 5. For f, we have 10. 5 times 2. For OI, we have negative 25, negative 2. So that is negative 27x. And for L, we have negative 1, negative 5, we have positive 5. So that's product of number 2. Next, for number 3, n times m squared, 1. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. For OI, we have 1 times 1, and then we have 2 times 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3n. 3mn. Positive 3mn. And for the last term, we have positive 2 times 1. So we have positive 2n squared. Yun. So, ganun lang kadali yung pag-compute natin ng multiplying binomial and binomial using the FOIL method. Okay? So, yan yung ano natin, yan yung hint in order to multiply at once. And for number 4, the same procedure. Palabasin ninyo yung 8m squared minus 14m minus 9. And for number 5, we have 2x to the 4th power plus x cubed minus 15x squared using the FOIL method. Next, number 2, product of a sum and difference of two terms. We have quantity a minus b multiplied by quantity a plus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. So this is the equation in product of a sum and difference of two terms. Take note that they have the same variable use, but they are different in terms of sign. Okay, so the in-between variables have the same different sign. So the product is a squared minus b squared. The product of a sum and difference of two terms can also be used, okay? You can also be used the FOIL method. But since this is a special product, we have our shorter way or easier way on how to find out its product. Let's say this one, making use of FOIL to multiply the following. Okay, quantity x minus 5 multiplied by quantity x plus 5. The product is x squared minus 25. Same true in the remaining example. Question: what is the pattern you observe? Did you see a pattern? What will be our pattern to get the answer? Okay, so we have the first and the second process. You are going to square the first term. Our first term is a. You square a. So that is a squared. Okay, minus. Okay, minus. That's why in your product, you have always minus sign. Okay? Sa gitna niya, meron tayong minus sign. Minus the square of the second term. The second term is b. You square b, that is b squared. But take note that in between of a squared and b squared should be what? A minus sign. Kagaya siya halimbawa dito sa quantity x plus 7 times quantity x minus 7. So, square of the first, we have x squared minus square of the second. We have 49. Okay? So that is what we call another spatial product. Product of a sum and difference of two terms. Okay, let us try this example. So in number 1, we have quantity x plus 7 multiplied by quantity x minus 7. The first term is x, therefore we have x squared, minus the product of the second. 7 is the second term, you square 7. 7 times 7, it gives 49. So x squared minus 49. Ganun din doon sa number 2. Product of the first is 16t squared minus square of 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Yan. For number 2, square of the first, that is 9. You square 9. 9 times 9, 81. Square x, that is x times x squared. Minus product of the second, we have 5. 5 squared is 5 times 5 equals 25. And y is also raised to the second power. So we have y squared. Yan. Ganun din sa fourth example. O, ganun lang. You square the first minus square of the second. That's the shortcut way in the second spatial product. Next, number 3, square of a binomial. Okay, this time we have square of a binomial. So, in symbol, we have quantity a plus b raised to the second power is just the same as a plus b multiplied by a plus b. Okay, the result should be a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, product of two binomials, this is also known as full method or small method. So, doon sa product of a binomial natin, kagaya ng square of a binomial, in the second spatial, sum and difference, and then yung pinakauna kanina, pwede mo pa rin gamitan ng full method, pero kung gusto mong shortcut way, gamitan natin siya ng algebraic method or model. The square of a binomial is the sum of the square of the first terms twice the product of the two terms and the square of the last term. Example, quantity x plus y multiplied by x plus y. Okay, so you can have the FOIL method. But since we have this shortcut way, okay, ganyan siya. Paano natin siya gagawin? Sabi niya dito, you are going to square the first term. Our first term is x. Okay? Square first term. So x times x, so we have x squared. Number 2, twice the product of the two terms. Okay? Twice means 2 times the product of the two terms. The two terms are x plus x and y. You multiply x and y, so that is xy, and then you double or twice that, you have 2xy. Okay? Yan ang ibig sabihin ng twice the product of the two terms. In Filipino, i-multiply mo yung dalawang term, pagkatapos mo siyang multiply, again, you multiply it by 2, okay? Or you double the product of the first and the second. And for the last term, you will have square of the last. Our last term or the second term is y. You square y, so that gives y squared. Okay. For further understanding, we have okay, take note. X squared plus 2x plus x squared, or y squared, I should say, this is y squared, is what we call perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial, meaning to say the product of a square of a binomial is an example of perfect square trinomial. Okay, remember the square of a binomial is the sum of 3 things. Square of the first term, twice the product of the terms, and square of its last term. Okay, let us try this example. Yan. Number 1, the first term is 3a. You square the first term, sabi niya doon sa ating process. 3a, both these are raised to the second power. 3 times 3 is 9, and then we have a squared, so we have 9a squared. Next, twice the product of the terms. So 3 times 1 is 3. You multiply it by 2. So we have 6ab. Okay? 6ab. And then square of its last, b squared. Therefore, we will have a product of 9a squared plus 6ab plus b squared. So, kapag ginamitan mo siya ng model or algebraic method, hindi mo na kailangang mag-solve pa sa papel. Hindi mo na kailangan ang ballpen at papel para kunin yung product ng square of a binomial. You can compute that orally. Next, number 2. Product of the first. So, negative 5 times negative 5. 25x squared. Okay? Negative 5x. Both are raised to the second power. Square of that is positive 25x squared. Next, we have product of the two terms. Negative times negative is positive. 5 times 3 is 15x. But you double 15x. It becomes negative or positive 30x. And then, square of negative 9, square of negative 3, that is positive 9. Ganun lang siya kadali. And for the last example, Square of 2x, 4x squared. You multiply the two terms. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 times 2, negative 12xy. And then square of its last term, we have negative 3 times negative 3 is 9y squared. Yan. So, ganun lang kadali yung product or square of a binomial. So, three steps lang ang pwede mong gawin dyan para ma-solve mo siya kaagad. You square the first, and then followed by, you double the product of the two terms, and then after that, you square the last term. Next, number 4, cube of a binomial. Yan. So, kung kanina, a plus b is raised to the second power, this time, a plus b, quantity a plus b is raised to the third power. Or that is the same as a plus b multiplied by a plus b multiplied by a plus b, and the product is a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared minus b cubed. Take note, the cube of a binomial is equal to the sum of the cube of the first term, thrice the square of the first term and second term. Number 3, thrice the product of the first term and the square of the second term. And number 4, cube of the last term. For instance, if we have this example, find the product of quantity x plus y cubed. Okay, so we have the following steps. Number 1, find the cube of the first. What is our first term? X. Right? Okay. Take cube of x. So that is, the result is x cubed. Yan na yung ating for initial product. Next, number 2, thrice the square of the first term and second term. Ayan. The first term is x. Okay? You square x, and then after that, multiply it by 3. So, 3 times x squared. And then, you add or you multiply it by the second term, which is positive 4. So, naging 3 times x squared times 4, and that gives 3 times 4 is 12, x squared. Ayan. Yan yung step number 2. Anong gagawin natin? 3 multiplied by square of the first times the second term. O, ganun lang siya kadali. Next, for number 3 step, thrice the product of the first term and the square of the second term. Kanina, dun sa step number 2 natin, ang in-square natin ay yung first term. This time, ang i-square natin sa number 3, step number 3, yung second term. But, again, you multiply it by 3. So, magiging ganito ang kanyang itsura. 3 times x times 4 squared. 4 squared is the same as 16. So, 16 times 3 is how many? 48x. Okay? 48x. Yan. Nakakasunod ba tayo? Madali lang yung cube of a binomial. Number 4, basta huwag kalilimutan yung 4 steps. Pag nakalimutan mo dyan yung isa, magiging mali na yung ating sagot. Cube of the last. The last term is 4. Get its cube. So, magiging 4 cube. So, 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. So, final answer, we have x cubed plus 12x squared plus 48x plus 64. Yan yung product of cube of a binomial x plus 4. Next, for the last spatial product, we have product of a binomial and a trinomial. Okay? So in symbol, we have quantity a squared minus ab plus b squared times quantity a plus b is equal to a cube plus b cube. So ano ang nangyari dito? May pattern ba kayong nakikita? Okay. So from here, you are going to get cube of the first and cube of the second. Okay? Next, dito naman, quantity a squared plus ab plus b squared multiplied by a minus b is equal to a cube minus b cube. Dito kasi yung kanyang operation symbol here is a minus sign, so we have minus in between of a cube and b cube. The product of a trinomial and a binomial can be expressed as the sum or difference of two cubes if they are in the following form. Okay? To get the product of a binomial and trinomial, multiply each term of binomial times each term of the trinomial. There will be 6 multiplications, then combine like terms. So parang gagamitin mo dito yung distributive property. Okay? Distributive property. Okay, so let's have an example. Yan. X squared minus xy plus y squared multiplied by x plus y. Yan. So for our solution, so you are going to distribute x plus y. Okay? So this expression is multiplied by x. And another, so we have plus, y is also multiplied by this expression. Okay? So one by one, we have x times x squared. X times x squared is x cubed. X times negative xy is negative x squared y. And then we will have x times positive y squared is positive xy squared plus this one. Y times x squared is x squared y. And then we have positive y times negative xy. So we have negative xy squared. And we have positive y times negative y squared. So we have positive y cubed. Okay. So you are going to combine like terms just like this one. Negative x squared y. And we have negative x squared y, and we have plus x squared y. So the operation is addition. The numerical coefficient here is 1, and this one is 1. According to what? Addition of integers. If the signs are different, you subtract. Okay, you subtract the two numbers. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So this will be cancelled out. Cancelled out. Cancelled out na rin ito. Cancelled out na rin iyan. Okay, so remaining now is x squared, x cubed plus y cubed. Okay, so in your activity sheets, doon sa quarter 2, week number 6, meron tayong mga sasagutan doon. So, activity number 1 entitled Trying Spatial Products. Okay, so for the direction, you are going to find the product of the following binomials using FOIL method. Write your answer on the box. Okay, gamitan mo ito ng FOIL method. So, go over, tingnan mo doon sa previous slides natin kung medyo nakalimutan mo. Okay, ulitin mo siya na panuorin. Okay, so we have activity number 1. Gamitan mo ito ng FOIL method. This is an example of binomial multiplied by a binomial. Okay? FOIL method yan. Next, for activity number 2, binomial celebration. It's Rod's birthday. Help him pop the balloon by finding the square of each binomial. Okay, let's say for number 1, quantity x plus 6 squared. So ito ay square of binomial. Ano yung sinabi ko sa inyo na process, okay, steps na pwede mong gawin. You square the first, and then number 2, you multiply the 2 terms and then you double, and for the last term, square of the second term. Okay? For example, number 1, square of x. Next, second step, you multiply the first and the second. And then, you double the result. And then for the last term, square the last term. Positive 6 squared. What is the product? Dito mo ilalagay sa circle dito. Okay? And then for number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So, 5 lang yung sasagutan natin doon sa activity number 2, binomial celebration. And for letter B, find the product. Okay? So, ito ay doon sa lesson natin about doon sa trinomial multiplied by a binomial. Ano yung sinabi ko? We have only 2 process or steps in getting the product of trinomial multiplied by binomial. Okay? Find the what? Cube of the first and cube of the second. Cube of the first and cube of the second term. Ganun lang siya kadali. Okay, so that ends our session. Good luck. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye.